What's good, YouTube? Man, we back with another reaction video, man. Shout out to the Bird gang. You know what I'm saying? We've been my channel been doing like a little better, man. We getting to the algorithm, man. This is my second channel, this Red TV 2. We about to react to NBA legends, like basically describing like how they feel about Larry Bird. So I don't think we ever seen this video right here. Matter of fact, let me grab my remote real quick. I don't think we ever seen this video right here, but we about to tap in, hit that like button, hit that subscribe button. I appreciate everybody. You know what I'm saying? Let's get it. Let's get it, man. Let's get it. Let's get it. Let's get it. My bad. I just took some fucking Tylenol. Shit. Let's get it, though.
There are players who played the game, and then there are players who rewrote how it was played.
Right.
When people talk about Larry Bird, they often start with the cliches. The slow white guy who somehow beat everybody. The guy who didn't jump high, didn't run fast, and still torched the league for over a decade.
Torched.
But if you strip away the stereotypes, if you ignore the jokes and highlight reels, what's left is the cold, hard truth that's echoed by every legend who ever shared the court with him. Larry Bird wasn't just good. He wasn't just great. He was built differently. And that difference wasn't measured in inches or speed.
Tough.
It was measured in instinct, in calculation, and in the way he made the extraordinary look routine. He didn't need the crowd to erupt. He didn't need the cameras to be on him. He needed the ball, the moment, and an opponent foolish enough to think they had the upper hand. From the moment he stepped into the league in 1979, Bird commanded respect in a way few rookies ever have. And over the next 13 seasons, he built a legacy not just with numbers and accolades, moments so precise and surreal that they're still retold with disbelief decades later. But don't take our word for it. Listen to the ones who played against him, the ones who tried to stop him, because if you want to know what Larry Bird was really like, the legends will tell you better than any stat sheet ever could.
And that's what matters
Even
the most.
Players who didn't face Bird directly, who came into the league after his retirement, speak about him with a kind of reverence. They've studied the tape, they've watched the plays, and they understand just how ahead of his time Larry really was. Baron Davis and Iman Shumpert, two modern-era players with high basketball IQs, broke it down in a podcast that went viral for one reason. It didn't sound like nostalgia. It sounded like the truth.
Right.
In a 2024 episode of their show, Baron and Shump got real about what it would look like if Bird laced them up in the modern NBA. No hand-checking, more spacing, rules tilted toward offense.
He really torched them.
They didn't play against Bird, but they've seen the film. They know the tempo. And they recognize how his skill set would only get deadlier in today's system.
Like, are you kidding me? Larry Bird in this era? Are you kidding me?
Facts.
That's
You
what
know what I
boil.
mean?
That's what be
Oh,
boiling
shit.
my blood. But
That'd
people
been more
don't.
rough though.
For
who?
For Larry.
How?
And it starts.
What you mean? How?
Just the physical
He's
capability.
6'10", dude.
That's a lot of 6'10".
2'4", okay.
Nah, it's a lot of that.
And
That's all I'm saying. He birthed that. Don't get me wrong. He birthed it. I'm just saying. We hadn't seen it
Who's
then.
going to be matched up against Larry Bird? Karl Anthony Towns.
That's a nightmare, man.
For Karl Anthony.
But if you really want to know who
I'm on
Larry Bird
Baron's
was,
side.
you've got to go to the ones who actually stood across from him. Karl Malone has one of the most legendary Bird stories ever told. It's not just funny, it's surgical. He said, "I'm going to get it right here. I'm going to shoot from this corner. You know what I'm going to do." Malone said it perfectly. I what he will do, and I still can't stop it. Bird got the ball, just like he said, rose up and hit the jumper from the exact spot.
Tough.
I remember sitting on the bench watching Kevin McHale and Larry Bird. And Larry Bird did something. To me, I'm still marveled at this. And he got so many people. It was a timeout. And one of our teammates, Bart Kofold, had a camera. Right. He's taking pictures. So Larry Bird came over there and looked at our bench. And he said, three-pointer from right over here. So I'm sitting over there looking like that Babe Ruth, calling your shot already, right?
Yeah.
So Isaiah, I'm sitting there looking. He looked down at the floor. Hell, everybody looked down at the floor. He like he threw something. And he hit a three.
That's tough. That's crazy.
And I remember Kevin kind of looking over at the bench like this gonna be a long night.
That was Bird. He didn't need flash to embarrass you, just a moment and a motive. And it didn't matter who you were. Rookie or vet, all-star, or bench guy. If you were on the floor, Bird had a target on you. Just ask Dominique Wilkins. In a playoff game, Wilkins approached Bird for a pre-game handshake. Bird kept his hands behind his back. He didn't say a word, just stared. Wilkins said, "Okay, he's just getting into the game." But then Bird gave him 38, still without speaking.
38.
So I go shake his hand, and he put both hands behind his back. And I'm saying, okay, he getting his head ready to play. And first play of the game, he says, "I don't know where they got you guarding me, Holmes." And he shoots a 3. I was pissed. I said, I wasn't mad he hit the 3, but this bitch just called me Holmes. And so it set up for a really interesting game. Because I remember one time I came down and I dunked it on him. He laying on the ground, he fouled me, and I'm pointing. And he said, "Hey, Rook." I said, "What?" He said, "What?" He said, "I like you. You got, he said, you got balls, but I'm still gonna get 30 on your ass." He got about.
It wasn't personal. It was psychological. Bird didn't need to engage in theatrics. He just needed the basketball. But when it came to talking, Larry could match anyone. And he often didn't just talk. He narrated. Gary Payton, one of the most legendary trash talkers in NBA history, still remembers the way Bird toyed with defenders. Payton recalled, "We'd be in the huddle and he'd be like, 'You guys don't even need to guard me. I'm just going to stand out here at the three-point line.' Then he said, 'I'm going to shoot it in your face right there in the corner.' And he'd do it. He used to tell me, 'I'm going to shoot this 3 right in your face.' Then he'd say, 'Why is your coach still putting you on me?' That wasn't bravado. That was truth. Bird didn't just predict outcomes, he delivered them.
Well, as much of a trash talker as you are, you actually said there's someone who's actually greater than you. And that is Larry Bird.
Absolutely.
Or you said that not only would he talk shit to you, but he would tell you what he's going to do to you on the court. He's like, "I'm going to shoot this from here.
That's how you know you're good.
Oh, now I'm going to I'm going to bust your ass here. Larry Bird, of all people, you would think. But he was the truth.
He was, let me tell you something. People always talk about great basketball players. And they don't never mention him to be up in that round when they made the Magics, the Jordans, the Kobe's and stuff like that. But Larry Bird was cold. Mm-hmm. I don't think nobody ever could get out with him. You ask Magic. That's why Magic had a run, and he was mad when he had to retire in '92 because of what he was going to be missing with Larry.
Byron Scott remembers it too. In one game, Bird told him, "I'm going to get it right here, and I'm going to shoot it right in your face." Scott didn't take it seriously. He said, "Whatever." But Bird got the ball, rose up, hit the shot, and then turned and said, "I didn't mean to leave 2 seconds on the clock."
So we play in the last play. He says to James Worthy, he said, "You guys don't have to worry about it. I'm gonna go right over in that corner." He said, "They're gonna set a screen for me. We're taking the ball out." He said, "I'm gonna curl right over," and he's telling us to play.
And y'all still can't stop
He's telling us to play before they even take it out. He said, "I'm gonna go right over to that corner and I'm gonna catch it, and I'm gonna shoot it, and I'm gonna tie the game or win the game, whatever the case may be." They take the ball out, and I think it was either Danny or
DJ,
the late great DJ.
Yeah.
Take the ball out, the man curl right to the corner, caught the shot, shot a 3, game over. It's like, are you effing kidding me?
Go to shake his hand. I'm a rookie.
Doc Rivers is known today as a seasoned NBA coach, a former champion on the sideline, and one of the league's most respected voices. But before any of that, he was a player, a gritty, intelligent guard who had to go toe-to-toe with some of the toughest names in the league during the 1980s and 90s. And during that time, he experienced something unforgettable. He didn't just hear about Larry Bird's greatness in interviews or watch it on grainy film. He lived through it specifically, one of the most iconic scoring performances in NBA history. Rivers was on the court the night Bird dropped 60 points, and it wasn't the kind of performance that snuck up on anyone. From the opening minutes, Bird let everyone know exactly what was coming. Not just that he was going to score, but how. Before each shot, he called his move, told defenders what spot he was getting to, and then executed it to perfection. There were no tricks, no surprises, just pure dominance from start to finish. Rivers saw it all unfold in real time, and it left an impression that still resonates decades later. Because when a player doesn't just torch your team, but tells you exactly how he's going to do it and still can't be stopped. You remember?
Do you remember? Well, you had the Bird night.
I had the Bird night. Yeah, that was a tough night, man.
You know, the biggest argument that night is, well, you only scored 6 on me. You know?
But
nobody was guarding Bird, were they?
Well, we were trying.
You were trying to.
You know, but when a guy is literally coming up the court, calling his shots, and, you know, Bird talked a lot of trash.
And that's in New Orleans.
That's in New Orleans. In that game, we're on the free throw line, and he literally says, left side across the 3, and you're listening to him. That's a tough feeling.
But, okay, so you guys got Antoine Carr and Cliff Levingston got fined by Fratello, I think.
And Eddie Johnson for celebrating.
Bird.
That's
yeah,
funny.
it was the best film
hilarious.
session. Every time when I see Mike, we still laugh.
God,
it was
so
it was the greatest film session ever, because back then you didn't have, you know, you watched the real game and just went, you know, with a video, and Mike rewound the celebration 20 times. He just kept not the shot, he just kept rewinding it, showing the guys. You remember, they're giving each other high five.
And then somebody falls off the bench.
Yeah,
too.
that was Eddie Johnson. That was Eddie Johnson.
Yeah.
Eddie Johnson falls off the bench in laughter, and Antoine Carr and Cliff gives each other high five. And our film session was 20 minutes of that.
That's crazy.
So it was.
It wasn't somebody not playing good defense on Bird. It was you guys celebrating Larry Bird's.
And Fratello wouldn't let it go. It just kept rewinding. And it was.
That's insane.
I think Bird went by the bench one time too.
He fell in the bench.
Oh, he did.
Yeah, and he called that one. That was the one where he fell in it. He literally said, off the glass into the trainer. And, yeah, and so.
Red Auerbach wasn't just a coach. He was the architect of the Boston Celtics dynasty, a man who built champions across multiple decades and who set the gold standard for what excellence looked like in professional basketball. By the time Larry Bird entered the league, Auerbach had already coached and mentored legends. He had seen Russell dominate the paint, Havlicek run the break, and Cousy dazzle with his handles. So when Auerbach spoke about a player, it carried the weight of experience, legacy, and credibility. And what he said about Larry Bird was simple but revealing. Bird didn't need motivation. He didn't need a push from a coach, a rival, or the crowd. He came ready every single night.
Right.
With Bird, there was never a question about effort or focus. He approached each game like it was a final exam and prepared to pass it with precision. To Red, Bird wasn't just consistent, he was relentless. And coming from a man who had coached more Hall of Famers than most people can name, that kind of praise wasn't handed out lightly. It was earned.
You can make a case for the greatest player of all time for Russell, for Bird, for Jordan, for Magic, and for Kareem. Those 5, you can make a case as to who the greatest, most valuable player of all time is. Larry Bird was like a Magic Johnson, or a Magic Johnson was like a Larry Bird. They try to add something new every year. They work harder than the rest of them. When practice is over, you could see Larry Bird out there every day, shooting for another 20 minutes, another half hour. If he didn't get enough running, he'd do some laps. He would just work hard. But above all, he was the most highly self-motivated athlete I ever was connected with. Larry Bird was. Forget the fact that he plays hurt. I saw him one day with a foot that if it was me, I'd be in bed. It was all shiny and infected. He had the doctor come in, cut it, put a bandage on, he went out and played. Unbelievable. He didn't have to play, but that's how those great ones are.
In just 13 seasons, Bird accomplished more than most players could dream of in 20.
That's tough.
He was a 3-time NBA champion. He won 3 consecutive MVPs from 1984 to 1986. He was named to 12 All-Star teams. He won Rookie of the Year, 2 Finals MVPs, and earned a spot on both the NBA's 50th and 75th anniversary teams. He averaged over 24 points, 10 rebounds, and 6 assists per game. He shot over 37% from 3 during an era when teams barely used the three-point shot. He became the founding member of the 50-40-90 club, shooting over 50% from the field, 40% from 3, and 90% from the line in a single season.
16?
He did all of it with injuries that would sideline most players today. He dove for loose balls. He played through back pain. He played with tape, ice, grit, and pride. Bird wasn't a highlight machine. He was a machine. period. He saw the court like a point guard, rebounded like a power forward, shot like a shooting guard, and led like a franchise player.
Facts.
In today's NBA, with more possessions, more space, and more freedom, Bird's numbers wouldn't decline, they'd explode. Because the league has evolved into the style of play Larry Bird was already mastering in the 1980s. He didn't wait for permission. He didn't follow trends. He set them. And that's why the legends can't stop talking about him.
Facts.
It's not nostalgia. It's not exaggeration. It's memory and respect. They didn't just play against Larry Bird. They were outthought, outplayed, and in many cases, left stunned by how simple he made the game look. Bird didn't win because of brute force or blinding speed. He won because he saw the game a half second earlier than everyone else.
Facts.
And once he saw something, he acted on it with no hesitation. That's what separated him. Not just that he knew what to do, but that he did it before you could react. He wasn't concerned with looking the part. He was concerned with winning. He didn't measure greatness through flash or marketability. He measured it in results. He didn't care who was in front of him, whether it was a future Hall of Famer or a rookie on his first 10-day contract. He approached every game the same way, with an edge, a plan, and a relentless drive to prove that basketball wasn't about who jumped the highest or talked the loudest. It was about who understood the game best. And more often than not, that was Larry. Each story you hear, whether it's Baron Davis talking about how Bird would thrive in today's game, or Gary Payton shaking his head in disbelief at Bird's in-game predictions, comes from a place of deep, almost reverent respect. These aren't just compliments, they're admissions. Because even among the greatest to ever play the game, Bird left an impression that time hasn't erased.
Right.
The stories may vary in detail, but they all land in the same place. He wasn't like the others. He thought faster, played smarter, and competed harder than almost anyone the league has ever seen. So when players across generations, from the 1980s to today, tell you that Larry Bird was different, you don't question it. You listen. Because the ones who truly know basketball speak his name with clarity. Not just as one of the best of his time, but as someone who transcended time itself.
Facts.
Larry Bird wasn't built to fit a moment. He was built to define one. And that's why, no matter how the game changes or how eras shift, the truth remains. Larry Bird is on a different level.
One of the GOATs, man. Larry Bird, definitely one of the GOATs. And the players that's literally talk about him, you know what I'm saying? They vouching for him. And they know more than us. So it's, and we can actually see that he's actually good. He actually been great. But when these players sit down and talk about what he was doing and they be reminiscing and stuff, like that's you gonna get the real of that. That's why I don't like what the media say about players. I like what the players, they peers say about, like when they talk about who they played against or who the best and stuff like that, because that's what matters the most for real. But I hope y'all enjoyed that. Hit that like button, hit that subscribe button. I appreciate y'all. Y'all stay safe, stay tuned, and we out.